Love became a performance I could no longer recognize. The necklace arrived on a Thursday. Not my birthday, not our anniversary, not Christmas bleeding into January with its trail of obligatory sentiment. Just Thursday. The kind of day where I stood at the kitchen sink watching steam rise from the dishes, my hands red under water too hot, his car pulling into the driveway at 6:47 like it always did. He came through the side door, the one that stuck in humid weather, and set his briefcase down with the same careful placement he'd used for 12 years. But then his hand went to his jacket pocket. "Close your eyes," he said. I didn't move at first. We were not people who surprised each other anymore. We were people who forgot to buy milk and remembered to pay the electric bill. We were people who said, "Love you," before hanging up the phone because it had become punctuation, not poetry. We were comfortable. We were safe. We were something that had stopped trying to be anything else. "Come on," he said, and there was something in his voice, a brightness that sounded practiced. Just for a second. So I dried my hands on the dish towel, the blue one with the frayed corner, and I closed my eyes. I felt the weight of it before I saw it. Cool metal against my collarbone, his fingers at the back of my neck fumbling with the clasp. He'd never been good with small mechanisms. I used to find it endearing, the way he'd struggle with hooks and buttons, needing my help. Now I just stood still and waited. "Okay," he said. "Look." In the hallway mirror, just past the coat rack and the picture of us at Niagara Falls 8 years ago, I saw it catch the overhead light. Diamond. Or something that looked enough like diamond that I couldn't tell the difference. Teardrop pendant, delicate silver chain, the kind of thing I'd scroll past on a jewelry website and never click. Beautiful, expensive, completely unlike us. "What is this?" I asked. "I saw it and thought of you." He was smiling behind me in the mirror, his hands on my shoulders. "Just wanted to do something nice. Is that so weird?" It was. He was a man who bought practical gifts. A new coffee maker when ours broke, noise-canceling headphones when I mentioned the neighbor's dog. He did not buy jewelry just because. He did not buy anything just because. "Where did you—" "There was a bonus at work." He squeezed my shoulders gently. "Small one. I wanted you to have something that made you feel special." The word hung there between us. Special. Like I was a client he was trying to impress, not his wife of 12 years who knew he kept his old college sweatshirts in the back of the closet and still checked the locks twice before bed. "We're saving for the roof," I said softly. "The roof can wait." His reflection smiled wider. "You can't." I wanted to argue. I wanted to say that the water stain in the guest bedroom was growing, that the estimate was $3,800, that we'd agreed to eat at home more and skip the streaming services we never watched. But standing there with his hands on my shoulders and something beautiful around my neck, I felt a strange, guilty pleasure. Maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe 12 years hadn't killed romance. Maybe it had just put it to sleep, and now, inexplicably, it was waking up. "It's beautiful," I said, and I meant it. He kissed the top of my head. "You deserve beautiful things." That night, I wore it to bed, feeling foolish and young and confused in equal measure. The metal stayed cool against my skin, even under the covers. I lay awake, listening to him breathe beside me, steady and familiar, and tried to remember the last time he'd surprised me. 2 years ago, he'd brought home takeout from the Thai place I liked. 3 years before that, he'd fixed the leaking faucet without me asking. Small things, maintenance things, not this. I didn't know then that this would be the last night I slept well. The days after were ordinary. I wore the necklace to work. I was a dental hygienist, had been for 14 years, and Angela at the front desk noticed immediately. "That's gorgeous," she said, leaning across the counter. "Anniversary?" "No, just because." She raised her eyebrows. "Just because?" Girl, hold on to that man. I smiled and touched the pendant, feeling its weight between my fingers. It had become a talisman, proof that I'd been wrong about us, that we weren't as settled as I'd thought. I started checking my reflection more often. In the car mirror, in store windows, in the dark screen of my phone. Each time the necklace caught light, reminding me I was someone who received beautiful things. I took a picture of it for Instagram. Nothing elaborate, just my hand touching the pendant, soft focus, the caption, "When he surprises you." 3 of my friends liked it. My sister commented, "Beautiful, what's the occasion?" I replied, "No occasion, that's the best part." It was Thursday again when I saw it, 1 week exactly from the day he'd clasped it around my neck. I was scrolling through Instagram in bed. Bad habit, I knew. The kind that made sleep impossible and morning come too fast. He was already asleep beside me, one arm flung across my empty pillow. The blue light of my phone painted shadows across his face. I kept scrolling. A friend's vacation photos, a former coworker's new puppy, an advertisement for meal kits I'd never buy. Then, a face I almost recognized. She was tagged in someone else's photo. A group shot at what looked like a rooftop bar, city lights blurred behind them. 4 women, all dressed up, all smiling. I didn't know any of them well enough to follow them, but I recognized her from somewhere. Dark hair, sharp smile, the kind of confidence that looked good in photographs. And around her neck, my necklace. Not similar, not the same style, the exact same. Same teardrop shape, same delicate chain, same length that hit just above the collarbone. I could see it, clearly, even though she was half turned toward another woman, laughing at something beyond the frame. My heart did something strange, not a skip, more like a stumble, like it had been running and suddenly forgot how. I zoomed in. The picture was high quality, posted just hours ago. The necklace caught the bar lights the same way mine caught the overhead lights at home. I looked at the pendant around my neck, then back at my phone, then back at my neck. Same, exactly the same. His office party. That's where I knew her from. 2 months ago, the annual summer thing at some restaurant with outdoor seating and overpriced cocktails. I'd gone reluctantly, made small talk with people whose names I couldn't remember, left early citing a headache that was only half invented. She'd been there. I remembered because she'd laughed loudly at something his boss said, the kind of laugh that made other people turn and look. I screenshotted the photo, then I clicked on her profile. Vanessa Chen, marketing coordinator, lived in the city, posted frequently, brunches, sunset views, quotes about self-care and manifestation. I scrolled through her feed, looking for what I wasn't sure. More pictures of the necklace, evidence of something I couldn't yet name. I found it 3 weeks back. Another photo, this time just her, close up, the necklace clearly visible. The caption, "Feeling grateful for unexpected kindness." The comments below were what I'd expect. "Gorgeous. You deserve it. Lucky girl." And then near the bottom, a single emoji from an account I recognized immediately. A simple heart, posted from his account, from my husband's account. The bedroom felt suddenly smaller, the walls closer. I could hear him breathing beside me, that soft whistle through his nose that I'd learned to sleep through years ago. Outside Bucky's, a car passed, its headlights briefly illuminating the ceiling before disappearing. The refrigerator hummed downstairs. The house settled around us, all the familiar sounds of night. I set my phone face down on my chest and stared at the ceiling. There were explanations. There had to be. Maybe he'd bought 2. Maybe there was a sale and he'd thought of us both, office gift and wife gift, nothing sinister in the overlap. Maybe Vanessa had seen mine somewhere and bought the same one. Coincidence stacked on coincidence until it looked like design. But the heart emoji, but unexpected kindness. But the way he touched my neck when he fastened the clasp, fingers lingering longer than necessary. I picked up my phone again, opened a new tab, searched. Teardrop diamond necklace silver. Hundreds of results. Thousands. They ranged from $30 to $3,000. I scrolled through pages of similar designs, trying to find the exact one. It took 20 minutes. I finally found it on a boutique jeweler's website. Everly pendant necklace, sterling silver with cubic zirconia, $340. Not cheap, not extravagant. The kind of price that said, "I'm thoughtful," without saying, "I'm desperate." I looked at his sleeping face. 12 years. We'd been together 12 years. We'd survived my mother's death and his father's stroke and the miscarriage that broke something between us for a while. We'd survived monotony and money stress and the particular loneliness of sleeping next to someone who'd become scenery. We'd survived because we were good at surviving, at not asking questions that didn't need answers. But now I was asking. I spent the next 3 days looking for proof I didn't want to find. I started with his credit card statements. They came to my email. We'd combined everything years ago, made it all transparent, promised that money would never be a secret between us. I opened statements from 3 months back. 2 months. 1 month. I found the charge. August 3rd, Maxwell and Rose Jewelers, $340. One charge, not two. One necklace. Two women wearing it. I checked his Instagram next, scrolling back through weeks of sparse posts. He barely used social media, claimed it was a waste of time. His feed was mostly reposts about sports and the occasional photo of something I'd cooked, but his likes were different. I went through them methodically. Vanessa's posts appeared regularly, not everyone, but enough. Her at a coffee shop, her at a gallery opening, her hiking photo with the caption about finding peace. And 3 weeks ago, the photo of her wearing the necklace. His like. No comment, just acknowledgement. I could have asked him then, should have, but I didn't, because asking would make it real. Instead, I started watching him differently. The way he checked his phone during dinner, angling it slightly away. The way he said he had to work late Tuesday, then Thursday, then Saturday morning. The way he'd started buying the expensive coffee again, the kind we'd agreed to skip. Small things. Things that could mean nothing or everything, depending on where you stood. I wore the necklace every day. It felt important somehow, like armor or evidence. I caught him looking at it once while we watched television, some crime show we'd seen before. His eyes went to my neck, then away quickly. I waited for him to say something. He didn't. On Monday, I did something I'd never done before. I created a fake Instagram account, generic username, no photos, following no one. Then I searched for her again. Vanessa's profile was public. I scrolled back further this time, past the necklace photo, into July, June, May. And there, in late May, I found them. A group photo from what looked like a work happy hour. He was in the background, half cut from the frame, but visible. She'd tagged the location, the Edison Bar. I checked his calendar. May 23rd, the date of the post. His calendar said, dinner with Marcus. Marcus was his college roommate who lived in Seattle. I kept scrolling, found another photo from April, different location, same pattern, group setting, him visible in the background, her, caption vague, good people, good times. His calendar for that day, client dinner. The lies weren't even creative. They were lazy, the kind you tell when you don't expect to be caught. I should have felt angry, betrayed, righteous in my pain. Instead, I felt tired, so tired, like I'd been climbing stairs for years without realizing it. And now, suddenly, I was at the top looking back down at all the steps I'd missed. Wednesday night, I made dinner like I always did. Chicken with roasted vegetables, his favorite. I set the table, poured water into glasses, called him when it was ready. He came down from his office, still in his work clothes, tie loosened. Smells great, he said, and kissed my cheek like he had 1,000 times before. We ate in near silence, the sound of forks against plates filling the space where conversation used to live. I watched him, really watched him, the way his jaw moved when he chewed, the small scar above his eyebrow from a childhood accident he'd told me about on our third date, the gray starting to show at his temples. He was handsome still, in the way that men become handsome when you've known them long enough to forget what they looked like new. How was your day? I asked. Fine, long, the usual. He took a drink of water. Yours? I saw something interesting on Instagram. His fork paused halfway to his mouth, just for a second, then continued. Yeah? Vanessa from your office. She has the same necklace as mine. He chewed slowly, swallowed, set his fork down with careful precision. Huh. Small world. Isn't it? I touched the pendant. Same exact one. Same jeweler even. I looked it up. The kitchen lights hummed above us. The refrigerator clicked on. Somewhere down the street, a dog barked twice and went silent. People buy similar things, he said. His voice was calm, steady, the voice he used with difficult clients. That style is probably popular right now. The jeweler's boutique, they don't make many. Maybe she saw yours and liked it. She posted hers before you gave me mine. The air in the room changed, not suddenly, more like the pressure dropping before rain, something you feel in your bones before you see it coming. He picked up his fork again, but didn't eat. What are you asking me? I'm not asking anything. I folded my hands in my lap, felt the tremble in them, willed them still. I'm telling you what I know. Which is? That you bought one necklace, that 2 women are wearing it, that you've liked her photos, that you've lied about where you've been, He looked at me then, really looked, and something in his face cracked just slightly. Not guilt, not shame, something closer to resignation, like he'd been waiting for this moment and was almost relieved it had finally arrived. "It's not what you think," he said. "Then tell me what it is." "We're friends, that's all." She was going through something, needed someone to talk to. The necklace was a birthday gift, a friendly gesture. Her birthday was in March. You gave it to her in August. "How do you—" He stopped, understood. "You've been checking up on me? You've been lying to me." We stared at each other across the table, across 12 years, across the space that had been widening between us so gradually we'd both pretended not to notice. "I never slept with her," he said quietly. "But you wanted to." He didn't answer. The silence was answer enough. I stood up. My legs felt strange, like they belonged to someone else. I walked to the sink, turned on the water, and started washing dishes, even though we weren't finished eating. He stayed at the table. I could feel him watching me, waiting for something. Anger, tears, accusations. I gave him none of those things. "The necklace," I said, my back to him. "Did you give it to her first or me?" "Does it matter?" "Yes." Another silence. Then, "Her." I nodded, kept washing. The water was too hot, but I didn't adjust it. "I was going to tell you," he said. "When?" "I don't know. Never. I don't know." I turned off the water, dried my hands on the dish towel, the blue one with the frayed corner, turned to face him. "I'm not asking you to leave," I said. "Not yet. But I need you to understand something. The woman you married, the one who would have believed your stories and swallowed her doubt to keep the peace, she's not here anymore. You took a necklace meant for someone else and put it around my neck and called it love. You think I don't know the difference?" His eyes were wet. I'd seen him cry twice in 12 years. At his father's funeral and when I lost the baby. Now 3 times. "I do love you," he said. "Maybe, but not enough to be honest. Not enough to choose me when it was uncomfortable. You love me the way you love this house, this life, as long as it's easy." "That's not fair." "Fair." I touched the necklace, felt its weight against my skin. "You gave me a script, the same one you gave her. I saw it and thought of you. You deserve beautiful things. How many others were there? How many women have you made feel special with the same words? She's the only one. That's the same as admitting there was one." He put his face in his hands. His shoulders shook slightly. I wanted to feel something. Pity, rage, satisfaction. Instead, I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left only the shape of who I used to be. "I'm going upstairs," I said. "You can sleep in the guest room. Can we talk about this?" We just did. I left him at the table, climbed the stairs, each step careful and measured. In our bedroom, my bedroom now, I closed the door and locked it. Then I took off the necklace. It looked small in my hand, delicate, unremarkable. The kind of thing that could mean everything or nothing, depending on who was wearing it and why. I put it in my jewelry box, next to my grandmother's pearl earrings and the watch I never wore. Then I got into bed and stared at the ceiling until morning came. The house developed new rhythms after that. He slept in the guest room. I stopped cooking dinner for 2. We moved around each other like strangers in a hotel, polite and distant. He asked twice if we could talk. I said maybe later. Later never came. I stopped wearing the necklace, stopped looking at Instagram, stopped searching for evidence because the trial was already over and the verdict was already in. Angela at work noticed the necklace was gone. "Did you lose it?" she asked. "No," I said. "It just didn't fit anymore." 2 weeks later, I saw Vanessa's profile again. She'd posted a new photo, different necklace, different caption, no heart emoji from my husband's account. Whatever they'd had, whatever it was, seemed to have ended. Maybe she'd found out about me. Maybe he'd ended it. Maybe it had simply run its course, the way these things do. I didn't feel vindicated, didn't feel anything except the quiet certainty that I couldn't unknow what I knew. The marriage wasn't over. We still shared a mortgage, a last name, a decade of history. But the marriage we'd had was gone, replaced by something I didn't have a name for yet. Something that looked like love from a distance, but felt like loneliness up close. One night, a month after the confrontation, he knocked on the bedroom door. "Can I come in?" I almost said no. Instead, "It's your house too." He sat on the edge of the bed, keeping distance between us. "I've been thinking." "About what?" "About us, about whether we can fix this." "Can we?" "I want to try." I looked at him in the dim light from the hallway. Same face, same hands. Same man who'd promised me forever and meant it until he didn't. Same man who'd bought a necklace and given it away twice because one woman wasn't enough to make him feel alive. "I don't know if I want to," I said. He nodded slowly. "I understand." "Do you? Because I don't think you do. I don't think you understand what it feels like to realize that the life you thought you were living was a story someone was telling you. That every I love you comes with an asterisk now. That I'll never hear you say something sweet without wondering if you've said it to someone else." "I'm sorry." "I know you are. But sorry is just a word. It doesn't change what happened. It doesn't give me back the version of you I thought I married." "Then what do you want?" I thought about that. What did I want? Not revenge. Not pity, not even apology. What I wanted was impossible. To go back to before, to unknow, to unsee. Failing that, I wanted something I couldn't name. Peace, maybe. Or just the absence of pain. "I want you to know," I said finally, "that you didn't just break my trust. You broke the story I was telling myself about who we were, about who you were. And I don't know how to write a new one." He left the room shortly after. The door clicked shut behind him. I listened to his footsteps in the hall, then the creak of the guest room door, then silence. Don't know what happens next. Maybe we'll go to counseling. Maybe we'll separate. Maybe we'll stay married, but fundamentally alone. Two people who chose comfort over courage. Maybe, years from now, this will be the story we tell about the time we almost fell apart. Emphasis on almost, on survived, on stayed. But tonight, in the dark, I know only this. The necklace sits in my jewelry box, unworn and cold. Sometimes I open the box and look at it, trying to remember how it felt that first night, the surprise, the pleasure, the brief, stupid hope that we were still capable of surprising each other. But mostly I leave it closed, evidence filed away, a story I used to believe in before I learned to read between the lines. He gave me something beautiful and called it love. I wore it until I understood what it really was, a promise he couldn't keep, offered to someone else first. Some truths you can't unlearn, some gifts you can't return, some loves you can't repair, no matter how much you want to, because the crack goes all the way through. I close my eyes and listen to the house settle around me. The refrigerator hums, the clock ticks in the hallway, outside a car passes, inside, everything is still. I never wore the necklace again. But I never threw it away either. Some things you keep, not because they're beautiful, but because they taught you how to recognize a lie when it's dressed up as a gift.